As a high school student, I was sleeping 6 hours a day, unaware that it was actually killing my gains. So today, I'm going to tell you 3 reasons why sleep is actively hurting your progress in the gym, as well as 4 tips on how you can fix it. First, we have to understand the mechanism behind what sleep actually does for you. So during sleep, a bunch of hormones are released. Growth hormone, IGF-1, and overall protein synthesis, most of it occurs during sleep, which is why it's so important to get good quality sleep and to get enough sleep. Your muscle fibers repair, your inflammation goes down, and overall you recover from your last night's session and also build on extra muscle that you can use later. Now, sleep isn't just useful for building muscle, it's also useful for maintaining muscle. When cutting, participants that were in the group where they had 5 hours of sleep or less, they were only limited to this amount, 60 to 70% of the weight that they lost was lean muscle mass. Meaning that if you're not getting enough sleep and you're cutting, really you're just throwing months of progress down the drain. But the 3 reasons on why poor sleep is truly killing your progress is as follows. Number 1, most of the protein synthesis occurs during sleep. We talked about this earlier, which is why it's so important to get quality sleep so that you can maximize protein synthesis. You can maximize this window. Number 2 is very interesting. It's when you sleep, you repair your central nervous system. Now you guys probably know, you might know what this is, you might not, but what it is it basically allows you to output certain force. So when you do heavy squats, heavy deadlifts, really any lift at all, you're using some of the central nervous system to force your muscles to contract and to push the weight. And just like a muscle, it needs time to recover, and it recovers during sleep. So when you don't get enough sleep, you don't get adequate sleep, what's going to happen is you're simply not going to output the same force that you previously could. And then the third thing is also pretty interesting. It's that if you are constantly running on poor sleep, your form will never improve. This is because you actually learn motor activities like playing the piano, riding a bike during sleep. You don't necessarily learn them while you're awake. You gather information while you're awake, you maybe improve it a little, but during sleep, your brain formalizes it and works on it and improves it so that next time when you step and you do that movement, you can do it better. So by getting poor sleep, you're really sacrificing your gains, you're sacrificing the amount of strength that you can output, and you're also sacrificing your form. But before we get into actually fixing our sleep, you have to understand kind of the underlying way that the body works. And that's, it responds to cues. Your body is going to fall asleep, and it's going to stay asleep, and it's going to have great quality sleep if you're in a natural setting, you're in a natural location. Think about it. If you were to go to bed where there's bright lights on you 24/7, there's music playing, then you're not going to get very good sleep because the cues aren't there. Your body is all psyched up. It's ready to do activity. It's not ready to shut down and to go to bed. And the first tip I'll give you goes in line with this, and it's that your room should be 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit or 16 to 19 degrees Celsius. You can do this by installing AC or turning it on if you have one already, or you can just plug in a fan, and hope that works. You can open a window even if you want to. But really, getting your room to this temperature is going to imitate what it was like when you were evolving. Just think about it. When you're sleeping outside during the nighttime, it's going to be pretty dark, and it's going to be pretty cold as well. The temperature is going to drop, and in fact, to fall asleep, your core body temperature has to drop about 1 to 2 degrees Fahrenheit to actually fall asleep. So by doing this first tip, you're going to fall asleep a lot easier. Now the second tip goes in line with this principle, that I mentioned earlier, and it's that your room should be pitch black. This means if you go to bed while the sun is still up in the air, maybe have blackout curtains. This means if there's a light coming from your AC unit or maybe a charger, block it out with duct tape or a sock, or cover it or remove it. But you want your room to be pitch black, because obviously when you go to bed and when we were still evolving, it would be very dark outside. So you need to have your room to be pitch black. The darkness is going to naturally signal to your body that it's ready to go to bed. And likewise, the third tip I'll give you is that during the morning, go outside and get some sunlight. Just as you want it very dark during the night, as dark as possible while you're sleeping, in the morning, you want to get some sun exposure. And what happens with this, when you go outside, even when it's cloudy, this still works, okay? Even though it's not as light, there's still infinitely more light than there is in, say, your room or your office or wherever you are in the morning. And what this is going to do is that it's going to, the second you see sunlight and you see this light energy, your clock is going to start. Your countdown until when you feel tired is going to start. And this is going to help you to get better sleep and to go to bed right away. So how you exactly do this is for about 5 to 15 minutes, you're going to stand outside and you're going to look not necessarily directly at the sun to where it hurts, but somewhat close to it to where you can truly feel the light. And the fourth and final tip that I'll give you, the most important advice that I could say to you, is to have a consistent sleep schedule. I'll clear up a common misconception, and it's that if you were to wake up at 6 a.m. during the weekdays and during the weekends, you could wake up as late as you want, that you should take that sleep. That you should go to bed and wake up as late as you can and just maximize the amount of sleep that you can get. However, this is counterproductive, because your sleep schedule, the thing that's ingrained in you, is created over days and even weeks. And so when you go to bed 3 hours later and you wake up 3 hours later, then what you're doing is you're completely throwing your schedule off, and for the following week, it's going to be so much harder to wake up at 6 a.m. And so this is the most important advice I can give you. Even if you're going to bed late, wake up at the same time every single night. So if you learned something, hit subscribe, because learning is good for you, and I'm posting quality content like this every single week, and it truly helped me out. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you in the next one.